For those of you looking forward to Star Citizen's medical gameplay, we don't have to wait much longer as the upcoming 3.14 patch takes things a little further with more medical mechanics to be introduced into the best damn space sim ever. So what was CIG's medical plan from the get-go? Back in 2014, you may remember that CIG started to lay out their path for how medical gameplay will affect us within the verse. From character health to identifying damage to how we go about healing was covered and has really been the focus of late within the CIG family. And oh boy, for those of us who are medical-minded players, we're getting excited for what's on the horizon. Now, there's a lot to break down within any game supporting medical gameplay, and we're going to begin with something we're all familiar with, those injured limbs. The initial outline covered 4 levels of health our limbs could sustain, as well as impact us on how our character moves and uses certain gear within the game. And not much has changed. Although not every aspect of how we're affected is implemented within the 3.13 state, we do see survivability times, utilize med pens as a self-healing aspect only, and even going as far as dealing with reduced jump distances with an injured leg. One of the aspects which I really think opened up the medical gameplay since the respawn function within certain ships is that of the drag mechanic. The drag mechanic was implemented back in 3.10 and is used to move NPCs or players who have been seriously hurt or incapacitated, and I really hope to see more variations of this, such as like maybe a fireman's carry, where the quicker movement and one-handed engagements are possible. So where are we at currently with the Star Citizen medical gameplay? While we already have ships with respawn, healing, and scanning capabilities, we're only seeing the tip of the sword, so to speak, as even many of these already implemented mechanics will go through even more changes in order to adapt to CIG's overall medical gameplay plan. With the upcoming 3.14 patch, clinics and hospitals will be making their way to various big city locations such as New Babbage, comprised of lobbies, pharmacies, individual floors, and recovery rooms. Now, while not all big city locations will get an overhaul to make way for these much anticipated hospitals and clinics, we can expect Orison in a later patch shortly following 3.14, as well as many more within the Stanton system, including space stations, before expanding across the verse in various fashions within future systems as well. Although these may just be the beginning, you can expect most larger cities to have a hospital, since CIG developers are taking into consideration how to keep players around areas for a longer time. And although injuries don't happen every day, when they do, you'll need a place to get them treated. And while we won't always have the luxury of going to a hospital, Star Citizen is near ready to implement a so-called field medic capability with the introduction of certain medical tools for 3.14. The Cure Life medical tool is one of them, and is designed for use in the field and within hospitals. And if you're a multi-tool fanatic, there's yet another interchangeable component also being delivered in the form of a healing attachment. And many of you may be asking, why 2 different tools? While both medical devices provide a medical readout of a player, exposing any underlying and serious issues one might have sustained, CIG employee and lead FPS systems designer Johnny Jacovicius explained the multi-tool healing attachment being able to fire a healing gel to a player over a short distance. This leads us to believe that the future of med pens alongside this multi-tool healing attachment will only be a temporary fix until a hospital or clinic can be reached, while the Cure Life medical tool offers various medicines that can be selected and even delivered at varying dosages, thus being able to treat more serious issues over the multi-tool attachment. As many Star Citizens tend to be a little more reckless knowing these medical tools are around the corner, I feel it's my duty to remind you about the Death of a Spaceman mechanic that will be implemented further down the line of Star Citizen's gameplay, but will probably be one of the last mechanics prior to the official launch of the game. While many games out there allow for multiple respawns, CIG has said that we'll be able to die and respawn a few times before we lose a little of our reputation and character, as the creation of a clone character or something therein is implemented for the Permadeath mechanic, so that we're able to continue our story within the verse as the new you inherits your inventory, UEC, and ships and vehicles. And while we won't need to completely start over per se, expect your reputation or other mechanic to be imposed upon one's death and reintegration to take a hit. I definitely love CIG's line of thinking here, as it will really make you consider the consequences of your actions, leading to either larger rewards or the end-all be-all of your character. There's a lot of Star Citizen's theory crafting on the forums, with their favorite streamers as well as content creators, and it makes for some exciting discussions. While CIG only gives us but a taste of what their developers are working on, we can't help but use our imaginations as to how intricate each of these professions will become. Back in February of 2021, CIG confirmed DNA integrity, medical insurance, cybernetic limbs, and cloning to be added to the progress tracker. But what do all of those mean? For those of us wanting to focus as medical doctors within the verse, will it be something as simple as purchasing the proper tools and being able to heal? Or will there be career paths we can choose and follow in order to develop and hone those skills? One aspect that I'm excited about is the level of realism Chris Roberts and his developers bring to the game. Although the game is set in a year far from our own, CIG is taking a lot of mechanics into consideration that many game developers choose not to, and the ones that do offer us even more of a realistic experience. For example, if I wish to become a reputable MD within the verse, implement a feature that teaches me basic medical gameplay within a classroom setting within the game. I, for one, would love to have medical exams provided that need to be passed in order to move on to the next step. Maybe like an internship or residency where I have so many skill labs I must participate in, as well as certain surgeries I must also perform during that time at one of the major hospitals around the verse, prior to obtaining a medical license and title of medical doctor. Now, while this shouldn't take years, definitely make it a challenge and allow for varying credentials of study incorporating different species, various fields, and at different locations within the game. This will provide a much more realistic experience while perfecting those skills needed for more serious injuries, mini-games, and overall medical gameplay for the more serious medical practitioner. Only then can one begin to gain a reputation and perform even the most difficult procedures, such as implementation of cybernetic components and cloning. There's so much theory crafting we can discuss over what it will take to become a reputable MD within the verse, and I hope it isn't as simple as visiting a guild, so to speak. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the aspects of medical gameplay and theory crafting. Be sure to comment below and hang out with me on Twitch, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 2 p.m. Central. Also be sure to slam that subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you can stay up to date with us. And I'll see you on the other side of the microphone.
Oh no!
Well, I guess that fixes that.